Hey guys, it's Andy Pater here and welcome to episode 2 of Wine and House Talk. Today we're catching up with Lindel Enticott from First Class Legal to talk about stamp duty. I hope you enjoy.
So I'm a solicitor at First Class Legal. We obviously have a group of us that are conveyancers, paralegals and solicitors. So I'm one of the lawyers that can help you with your queries.
Today we're, because it is Wine and House Talk, we're going to talk about a beverage, and today the beverage of choice is actually lemon lime and bitters. So I did a bit of research into lemon lime and bitters, and it turns out that it was offered as an alternative to pink gin. Don't know if you knew that, and is traditionally served after a game of golf. I've played a few games of golf and I've never finished it with lemon lime and bitters, but apparently that's a thing. And in 2018, the ABC wrote an article saying it was Australia's national beverage, which is interesting. I probably would have guessed that it was beer, to be honest with you. Yeah. But yeah, we're enjoying some lemon lime bitters, so cheers.
Cheers.
So why don't we jump into some questions? The first question that we're going to discuss is an explanation of stamp duty. A lot of people talk about stamp duty. If you're a first home buyer, I'm sure an agent has said the phrase stamp duty, but you may not actually know what it is. So can you give us an explanation of what is it? Is it an expensive stamp?
So stamp duty is a tax that you pay to the Victorian government when you purchase real property. So vacant land, any kind of land, dwelling, property, you're going to pay some tax to the government in most cases. There are some exceptions, but it's a tax that you need to budget for when you're making that purchase.
Fantastic, okay. Can you give us an idea of, I'm under the impression that some people get concessions. Can you give us an idea of who's eligible, should I say, for concessions?
Yeah, so there's quite a few concessions in Victoria, depending on your circumstances and the purchase price that you're actually paying for the property. The one that you probably come across the most is the principal place of residence concession. So if you're not using the property as an investment and you are going to live in it as your main principal place of residence, and to do that you need to be living there for at least 12 months, within 12 months of when you settle the property. If you are going to use it as your main place of residence and you purchase for under $550,000, then you get a small concession on stamp duty. That's regardless of whether you've owned property previously, as long as you are going to live in the property. And then obviously the other main one that comes up all the time is the first home owner concession. So if you're a first home buyer, and again you buy within the right thresholds, and you meet the criteria, then you can get a significant concession and sometimes an exemption on stamp duty.
Yeah, I'm a first home buyer and I know that I'm getting a concession. I'm buying off the plan, and I get a concession. Is there any concession for an investor who's building or buying off the plan these days?
There are no concessions for investors these days at the moment. That's been changed. So as long as you're planning on living in the property, you might be eligible for one of these concessions. And the first home buyer concession, it's actually a full exemption up to $600,000. And then it works on a sliding scale up to the maximum $750,000. If you go over the $750,000, you're not treated as though you get a concession. Yeah. And to be the first home buyer, obviously, you need to intend to live in the property, just like the one we discussed before.
And that's for 12 months?
Yep,
okay.
Within 12 months of purchasing.
Yep.
And you need to be an Australian citizen or permanent resident. If you think perhaps you or your spouse don't come into that category, get some legal advice before you buy so they can help you with your budgeting.
Fantastic.
If you do have any queries about being foreign, just go and get some help first because there is extra duty for that.
Okay, so we're going to pop First Class Legal's details at the end of the video and in the comments below. So if you do have any questions, feel free to jump on their website and reach out. They'll be able to help you out. Yep. And yeah, if you do have any questions, that's how you can get in touch. I do have another question for you though. Do you have any advice around stamp duty, any things to look out for?
Yeah, so there are obviously, like we were saying, there's a range of concessions. That's not all of the concessions that are available. There's what you were referring to before as buying off the plan. There are other circumstances that come into play. But if you're not sure, just get the advice before you buy so that someone can guide you through it, because even just a change in $20,000 or $30,000 extra to a vendor might actually be a significant change in how much you need to budget for because of the stamp duty. So, for example, if you buy a property at $600,000 as a first home buyer, that's going to be a big financial difference than if you bought at $650,000 as a first home buyer, because you no longer come under the exception part of that concession. So for budgeting, it's better to just get that advice before you make that offer.
Cool. Do you know of any changes that are proposed or discussed at the moment that might come into play that might affect
So duty and concession has changed almost every year for the last couple of years. There's always been a slight tweak, usually around the budget leading up to the end of financial year. So there were some changes last year at the end of financial year, and there may be some coming up now. There's none that are finalised, but we publish a newsletter that will let you know if we are giving you information on any changes to stamp duty.
Cool, and can the guys subscribe on your website?
You can subscribe on the website.
Okay, fantastic. So yeah, if you do want to find out, I'll be subscribing as soon as I finish up here. The link is below. Fantastic. And have you got any other last bits of advice? I think you've covered everything, to be honest with you.
Do you deal with a lot of pensioners?
Do I deal with a lot of pensioners? No, but
No.
Do you have any advice for pensioners?
Pensioners, reach out to someone first as well, because that's a really good exception and concession if it applies to you. So if you're not sure, just check your eligibility. And another thing is the State Revenue Office website actually is pretty helpful for a government website. They do have a duty calculator where you can put in your details, how much you think you're going to buy for, who's buying, and it can actually give you an estimate of your stamp duty. It's pretty detailed. It has a lot of analysis on all the different exemptions and concessions, particularly if you're not sure what you might be eligible for. It's a good place to start, and then just back that up with a conveyancer or a solicitor giving you some advice.
Yeah, okay. I might pop the link for that in the comments as well. It's a pretty cool tool, especially if you're trying to work out what you're up for.
Yeah.
I think that's it for us. We might enjoy the rest of our drinks now, as you do. But if you do have any questions about specific figures, or if you want to find out how much stamp duty you might be up for, please do reach out to the guys at First Class Legal. They've helped me, they've helped a few of my clients now, and I know for a fact that they will be able to help you. So please check out the links below. Thank you so much for being on the show.
No worries.
Hey guys, I hope you got something out of that. As mentioned in the video, there's some links below for you to check out First Class Legal's details. So if you do have any follow-up questions, please reach out and the guys will definitely be able to help you out. As always, please feel free to subscribe to the video and follow me on social media for some updates. Can't wait to see you next time. See ya.